Frank Whittle, the father of turbojet engine, said, and I quote, "A nation's ability to fight a modern war is as good as its technological ability," unquote. These words have stood the test of time and are even more relevant in today's geopolitical scenario. Good morning, everyone. I am Commander Siddharth Gupta from Naval Headquarters, Directorate of Naval Air Staff, and in the next 12 minutes, I'll be presenting the topic, Indian Navy's experiences and requirements with respect to unmanned aerial systems and counter-unmanned aerial systems. The presentation will be covered under the heads as shown. Let's analyze the naval perspective and the unique challenges that it brings. The Indian Ocean is spread over an area of 68 million square kilometers, connecting over 35 littoral nations. The choke points in IOR are vulnerable and they require persistent surveillance. These surveillance challenges require air assets with reach, sustenance, and versatility, and that is where the unmanned aerial assets come in. The modern naval warfare is undergoing a revolutionary transformation with the integration of UAS. Naval forces around the globe are now leveraging the power of drones to enhance surveillance, precision strike capability, and electronic warfare. The technology has evolved from basic reconnaissance platforms to highly sophisticated combat systems capable of independent operations in high threat environment. So why does UAS matter at sea? UAS can take on high risk mission, minimizing human exposure to threat. High precision kamikaze drones provide lethal hard kill measures. UAVs can extend the operational reach of the fleet far beyond the radar horizon. They can be launched quickly to respond to time-sensitive threats like piracy or surprise attacks. Nations with smaller navies can use drones to counterbalance more technologically advanced fleets. Further, man-unmanned teaming can improve commanders' decision-making at sea based on real-time data gathered from unmanned systems. Thus, UAVs are capable of executing multiple missions in multiple theaters with ease of redeployment based on emerging requirements. I shall now take a glimpse into the present and future UAS and counter-UAS capabilities of Indian Navy. The HALE RPAs. Indian Navy has leased 2 MQ-9B Sea Guardian aircraft from MS General Atomics and placed an order for 39 MQ-9B, of which 15 would be for the Indian Navy. The induction of HALE RPAs has ensured that Indian Navy can maintain near continuous surveillance even at the fringes of IOR. Some of the missions undertaken by HALE RPA for Indian Navy and the sister services are as shown. Among the male RPAs, ION is operating 2 Hermes 900 Starliner designated as Drishti 10 and made by Israeli Aerospace Limited Herons, which have been serving the tri-services since 2003. ION has also acquired ship-launched RPAs called Naval Shipborne Unmanned Aerial Systems or NSUS to boost the fleet's integral surveillance capabilities at sea. Coming to the counter-UAS capabilities of ION. The counter-UAS systems of Indian Navy are broadly classified into 2 categories, land-based and ship-based. The CONOPS for detection and neutralization for both the system is shown on the screen. Firstly, the land-based systems. The ship-based systems. It may be noticed while the land-based system focus on laser and high-power microwave in addition to manpads and small arms, the same is not feasible at sea. Therefore, SAM systems, MR guns and close-range guns systems are utilized. Having seen the present capabilities of ION, let's have a look at its future plans. Firstly, man-on-man teaming or MUMT, when employed effectively, can act as a force multiplier and enhance the effectiveness and survivability of manned assets by allowing RPS to scout ahead, engage threat, or simply act as decoys. Another emerging technology is swarm drone, which can collectively exhibit a self-organizing behavior through interaction, time synchronization, and cohesion among themselves as well as within the environment. Some advantages of swarm drone are as shown on the screen. High altitude pseudo-satellites are planned to be inducted as operationally responsive space element, and they would serve as a persistent vanguard for fleet deployed at sea. ION is also looking at acquiring naval unmanned combat aerial vehicle capable of landing taking off from an aircraft carrier with capabilities as shown on the screen. Navy Combat Air Teaming System NCATS is the envisaged new CAF for ION specifically for carrier-based operations. We have seen that there is a diverse spectrum in Indian Navy's RPA fleet with respect to both platforms as well as sensors, wherein bulk of the technology has been imported from foreign OEMs. Thus, significant challenges are faced by the RPA fleet with respect to operations and maintenance. Additionally, certain vulnerabilities have also been identified with respect to dependency on foreign OEMs, which are required to be mitigated. Looking at those vulnerabilities from the operational aspects, the first point is with respect to reliance on foreign OEMs for FOP generation, which leads to access of sensitive airfields to foreign OEM. The survey process involves calibration of precise waypoints and location. The data gathered during such surveys is highly critical and could be used to map other high-value assets located at those strategic locations. Secondly, RPS utilize software-based electronic systems which require regular updates. The same is done by foreign OEM using a hardware which is plugged into the system. The update could last from minutes to hours, during which the system is exposed to malware as well as data extraction. It has been observed that satellite bandwidth hired by indigenous sources is limited due to limited satellite footprint. Therefore, beyond LOS, operations of RPAs require hiring of satellite services from foreign OEMs, which exposes confidential data of Indian Navy to foreign OEMs. ION is also facing issues towards integration of indigenous payloads in foreign platforms. We have issues like policy angle clearance, ITAR clearance, CMC clauses, etc. In addition, OEM has proprietary software which makes it difficult to integrate payloads from other indigenous sources. One specific issue with respect to Indian Navy's maritime patrol radar, while synthetic aperture radar capability has been indigenized, the primary feature of maritime patrol radar, which is the inverse synthetic aperture radar, has excessive reliance on foreign OEMs. With respect to training, while the initial training is factored in the initial contract, continual training of both operator and maintainer suffers when engaged with foreign OEM. Coming to the vulnerabilities in maintenance aspects. Heavy reliance on OEM for serviceability, especially D-level services, entails long lead time. In addition, unplanned maintenance and servicing issues requiring OEM support tend to have long lead time with foreign OEMs. Limitation of foreign OEM support at remote locations has been observed while operating from Car Nicobar. Another major issue is with respect to obsolescence and upgradation. It has been found that it is difficult to change the hardware and payloads once they turn obsolete. Long lead time is also observed due to geopolitical reasons, whether it is the Russia-Ukraine conflict or delayed maintenance of RPA due to Israel-Hamas war. On similar lines, problems with respect to counter-US have been envisaged. The major issue is with respect to threat library, which requires regular updates. Other challenges are long-range detection and identification capabilities, cost dilemma with respect to a low-cost threat, and limitations of jamming. In the end, I would like to convey that while there are multiple challenges with respect to foreign OEMs, the solution is only one, and that is indigenization, indigenization, and indigenization. Not as a token, but as a mission. In the same spirit, ION released a roadmap for Atmanirbharta, which was released by Honorable RRM during Aero India 25, wherein stringent requirements of naval aviation, including all RPAs, whether land-based or ship-based, have been captured, and the document is available on Indian Navy's official website. With this, I finish, sir, and I'll be happy to take on any further questions. Thank you, Shamnavarna.